Utter, and we're working with Power Scheduler, scheduling a Q&A session. With me, I have Doris Kitts and from the support desk, Michelle Gresham. So you're only going to be seeing the main Power Scheduler screen until you're asking for something specific, and then I'll bring up a screen so we can talk through it or show you on the screen or whatever it is that we need to discuss. At this point in time, I'm going to leave you as muted, and you can ask questions through the question panel. And if you need to elaborate and it's too hard to type it, then I will unmute you so that we can elaborate on the question and things of that nature. So just as a quick test, if you can hear me okay, I'd like you to raise your hand from within the webinar. That is awesome, great. So I'm going to take all your hands down, and then you guys can begin typing in the question area. We're all going to be answering those questions. All the questions will be read out loud and the answers given out loud, but they will also be typed in the question area. So at this point in time, within Power Scheduler, you could be at any place within the checklist. You could be just beginning, you could be partway through. So this is an area where you can just ask any kind of question in any type of version or means that you see that will profit you. So we're going to kind of sit around. Is there anything, Doris, we want to start out with them? Anything you want to say?
We have a question. We have a K-12 charter. Our K-12 building is copying the current schedule. The 6-12 building is redoing their schedule. Do we need to build and load? Can K-12 just copy this year's schedule and 6-12 do what they need to do? Oh, Amanda, that's a tricky one.
You're one K-12 charter. So you said your K-5 building and your 6-12 building, are they listed as two schools?
No, they're one school.
And that makes a big difference.
What you end up having to do would be build and load the 6-12 and then bring in that K-12, copy it and bring it in. And we've done that before, and that's kind of hard to explain.
So build and load the 6-12. Then bring in the K-5. Do you want to elaborate a little bit about that, about when you say bring it in?
Well, what you would actually have to do is export it. Then I would make it match my build ID and my year ID, just basically change that up and then import it into the schedule. And then I would actually commit it from the Power Scheduler side. It may be something that Amanda wants to work with us more on one-to-one, but that is something we have done more than once.
So I'm running make the K-5 import match the build.
Right.
So in the end, all will be in the Power Scheduler, and the Power Scheduler, and we'll commit in the Power Scheduler. That's what I'm trying to say. All right.
And Jackie was asking me something, is there something we need to specific talk about? One of the things, guys, I did want to remind everyone with your incoming 9th graders, if you are using the course groups and screen setup to allow the students to select your courses, remember that the middle school they're coming from must have a scenario set up. Doesn't matter if you're going to use it, just set one up, just a simple scenario. And then the students will be able to see their course screens as long as they were, pardon me, as long as they're pointing to the right school, students. Okay.
That's a good point, because not everyone is going to use the online course request, but if you're thinking about it, or this is your first time using it, those are things that you're going to need to know.
Oh, good point, Jackie. First time, let them know. Based on our last webinar, we had the last two webinars for pre-scheduling. We had several people who were really brave, and I'm so excited, and would like to use the student request screen this year. So we are offering a new webinar. Jackie set it up. Was it
January 31st?
I thought it was the 31st. Thank you. And we will be doing nothing but the course, group, and screen setup for anyone who would like to use those this year, or would like to just be sure everything's done right.
Right. So that is going to be, it's posted, it's going to come out on the Friday bulletin, and it is also, it's also going to be on the NC6 calendar, and it also is going to be sent out to the principals and vice principals through whatever means that they get information from. I don't see any other stuff. So, guys, keep thinking of some
and you know, while we're talking about the incoming ninth graders, and this will also apply to incoming fifth graders, when you have students that are changing buildings, and also we're talking early colleges as well here. You know, if you use the Mass Enroll student request screen, like all ninth graders must take PE, and that's true, they're going to take health and PE, or all sixth graders must take sixth grade English. If these students are incoming, they will be attached to the wrong school ID because it is a bug within PowerScheduler. But that's okay, because within PowerScheduler, if you go to Functions and go to Resolve Invalid Request, you can actually allow PowerScheduler to put the right school number on that student's request. Oh, by the way, if you have the wrong school, the wrong course number, it'll change course number too.
Right. So right now, as I brought up a screen that is in a development site, so it's a test site, and I'm showing you where right now we are in Power Scheduler main page. And Doris, you want to tell us again how we're getting to where we need to be?
Yes, we are. Now, I make a habit, and I'm going to say this is a good thing for me to get my little soapbox. Anytime I go into PowerScheduler, once I've been scheduling, look in the upper right corner, does the scheduling year say the right year? If not, stop.
Yep, good.
Do not continue until that says scheduling year, and it is the right year. All right, moving on.
Okay.
All right, we're going under the tools where it says functions. And when we hit functions, we will go down there. These are in alphabetical order, so we'll go to Resolve Invalid Request. Now, we probably don't want to hit this simply because it will actually bring up students,
right,
and show us their name.
Right.
It will show the school that the course, and the course is listed there, that the course is listed to, so you will know if you need to change a school and or a course number. I love this. This function came probably with 9, and it's a really great function.
And we do know that that bug is fixed in version 11.
Correct, it is. I have already tested and proved that it is fixed.
Right. So between now and then, I'm sure that you're already going to be using this online course request, so you may not get to 11, so you need to know that this is here.
Now, for those of you who visit functions, you guys, I hope you use functions when you're on this page. If you're going to copy your master schedule from last year, it's on this page, copy master schedule. And then after I copy it, I can move my previous year data and I can generate teachers' assignments. Yeah, that's wonderful. How many times have you sit there and had to key in all those teacher assignments? They're pretty much the same. Bring them in. Then after you get all that data in from that master schedule, delete it. And then you can build. And you got all your good stuff there.
So this function has been growing in years.
It has.
They've been adding really good stuff here. So Doris is our scheduling queen, and she understands a lot about how North Carolina schools, you guys, how you've scheduled in the past, and what is the best way for you guys to handle all of your scheduling needs. So she's able to utilize, and you are able to utilize a lot of these functions in this area.
For those of you who are using Visual Scheduler, the calculate target number of sections to offer is specifically related to Visual Schedule. I'm so sorry. My mouth is tied up. It's having enough coffee, I guess. But Visual Scheduler is the target number of sections. So you don't have to worry about that one if you're not using Visual Scheduler to build.
Right. So we do have a question. It says, explain the auto-gen teacher assign again, please.
Okay. All right. So auto-generate teacher assignments. Okay. So what we started to begin with. Now, even if you're building, let's say we're building, and I want to be smarter. I want to work smarter, not harder. Okay. So I'm going to copy my master schedule from this year. Then I am going to I'm going to auto-generate my teacher assignment. So it's going to look at my current schedule and say, oh, Miss Smith taught 5 sections of U.S. history. I'm going to give her 5 assignments of U.S. history. So that a teacher assignment tab now has 5 assignments. So it's going to copy all of that information from the schedule just by hitting that button.
Doesn't mean you have to keep them, but it'll give you what's there, and then you can tweak it as necessary.
And there's a great report called Teacher Assignments under Reports.
Yeah.
I'd run that one and look at it. It may be on the teacher's list, but I would look at it and say, oh, and that way you're only going to have to tweak a few versus keying in, 120 teacher assignments.
Exactly. Okay, so let's go to, I'm hoping that helped Julie and everyone. This is another question. Wondering if there's a document that shows in what order to key in things so that when we hit load, we are not deleting previous entries. I am new to this, first schedule last year, and don't want to lose information as kept happening last year.
Oh, but that is an expert question.
Yes.
That is an expert question. I love her question.
So she gives an example. OCS students needing to be in certain band, course, dance, etc. It feels like I put in a lot of information, and then when we hit load, it overrides the other information, even if I've frozen the section. So I'm asking if there's an order of events. So, yes, there is. And there's, Doris, you can go ahead and continue on with it. I mean, I know where I would go and do things, but...
Well, I was just thinking of our checklist that we have.
Yeah.
And I think it's probably where you were, too. A lot of times, remember, now, do we do the majority or the first and then put the singles? You put the...
I normally do my singletons first, but that's up to you.
Well, sometimes it's all in the order that you put your load priorities, your build priorities, and your student priorities. A lot of it is all prior. So she's right. There's a lot of work to put in.
So the document is called...
I'm thinking the checklist is the one I want to use.
Is it just plain checklist, or is it pre-build checklist?
We have some that's got a pre-build. It's the one that tells you to have a cup of coffee. It's a good one.
Pre-build checklist.
I think you're right.
We'll look and see what the exact name is, and then we'll come back and include it here in the answer, and and then we'll say it out loud. So there's a comment that said, isn't there a build and load checklist and a load only checklist? Yes, there is. There are two different types of checklists. And some of you might use both of them depending on what you're doing and how you're doing it. So yes, there is.
Well, Jackie, why don't we point them to our hidden files?
Oh, perfect.
You know, that might be the best thing. And I didn't say it first because I had to be sure I remembered the URL. It's a hidden file. Now, if you go to our www.nc-cis.org. Now, I like to go there because that way I know I'm at the right place.
Okay.
Now I'm going to do a /, and it's important that you do the uppercase S and then lowercase ILES files .html, and we're going to enter. And now we're going to see our secret scheduling files. Please understand some of these are older, and the only thing that may have changed is some print screen information. For instance, full year doesn't come in anymore, the real year. That's been corrected, but you'll see full year in one of these steps. So, but we would like, it block simultaneous stacking. You're welcome, right there.
Yes. So, I'm going to make this, see if I can find my mouse. Come on now, come back. There we go.
Oh, look at that.
Files for scheduling. There's a whole bunch of information here.
And we even have the workbooks, prepare to build workbook. Please be aware that it is probably on 9 versus we're on 10 in PowerSchool, so there'll be a few cosmetic changes, and that's all. Checklist of things to do before the workshop. Though we aren't having workshops this year, we are having a day and a half scheduling class. I'm old.
Yeah.
CES.
Right.
The old symposium.
Right. So if you're going to do that day and a half of scheduling, you might want to make sure you go in and take a look at this checklist to get as much of that stuff done before you enter that day and a half.
Yes. And if you're coming in brand new and you just want to learn, then that's okay. There are going to be 3 of us in that room.
Yep.
We are going to have lecture. We're going to let you work. We are going to do whatever you need us to do. I'm not sure how they're taking the registration for that class, though. I don't know if they're taking pre-names. I don't
know. I think we have to double check with the people that are running the CCES registration desk to see whether you have to register for that particular class or if it's first come, first serve. And I know that we will be having some kind of a wait list. We're trying to make sure that if you don't get in, there's some kind of way for you to get that. While it's true, we are not going out and doing the scheduling roadshow.
It's because of Power Teacher Pro. It was the need. We did a survey, PowerSchool group, and found that the needs of the field was the Power Teacher Pro
at this point.
This point in time, and so that is what was decided on. And so, if you need scheduling help, we may be having some here, but we're available and can talk with you. And these sessions that we have, the Q&A, log in, ask your question, log out if that's what you want to do. We can log in and look at your data if you need us to. We're not going to show it on screen.
Exactly.
So, and we love to help.
Sure.
Pardon me. Got something stuck in my throat. And we'll also have a few other classes. You know, if you're interested in Visual Scheduler, I'll do a little session on Visual Scheduler to the side and tweaking your schedule. And then Jackie's doing one, do I build or do I load? And she's doing which was your other one, Jackie? Elementary schedule.
Elementary schedule.
That's it. Sorry.
I think we're both, making sure that elementary scheduling and the class HB 13 stuff. So be prepared for that one. So there is a comment. So you're saying that those of us are not able to go to symposium won't have the workshops that have been so very helpful in the past.
So they did do a survey, and the survey came back and said that that was not a need. And through the last few years, our workshops have gotten lower in numbers. So again, this was done by survey.
So that is true at this point in time. We, if we are able to get something together with our schedules and being out for Power Teacher Pro, scheduling is a problem with us having the time to now do a scheduling thing, even if it is here in Raleigh at DPI. So, you know, we will try and get out any information that we can to you as soon as we have it.
And again, this was a decision management made based on the survey. Is there any way when you are building to get scheduled where the system knows that Math 1 needs to be scheduled before Math 2? And we're talking build, correctly? We're going to build the schedule, and we want Math 1 before Math 2.
Yes, build.
Okay, well, Jackie, there are two ways.
That's true.
The best way is course preference, don't you think? Where we could go in and dictate that Math 1 is one semester and Math 2 is a different one. But we all know that's not ideal because of you've got your children who took Math 1 at the end of last year and need Math 2 this year. But what you could do is, golly, there's two ways. Which way would you think is the best?
Yeah. Well, we know that doing course preferences
is always
is better, that we can always do it because of the scheduling engine and how it does things. So if we can do it in course preferences, that would be the one way to go. But if you can't, then there are building relationships and constraints that we can use.
Correct.
So, you know, if you can do it in course preferences, go ahead. Or the other thing would be to build a relationship.
You could also give the relationship was one I was thinking of, and when you were talking about the course preference, I also thought you could give a teacher a certain number of assignments in a semester and be sure that one built more in semester 1 and 2, and you could still have some in 2. This is a whole lot of ways to do it. But yeah, Jackie is right. Try not to do it. The constraints are not always the preferred way because of how strict they can be. Right.
I mean, but it does work. I mean, obviously there are times when we have to use the constraints and the relationships, and it's not harming it. It just makes the engine work harder. Okay. When working on this on my own, how is the best way to contact one of you for specific questions, kind of an in-the-moment need?
In past, because we've been traveling with what I call the scheduling show, we just have you email us and we can answer you. The support desk, you can send a call to them. It's not always, they answer tickets in the order of which they were received. And if you're not dead in the water, you might not get into your answer that day.
Right.
And we do try to answer them that day in our emails. And if you email Jackie, myself, Tiffany, one of us will reply to all so that we know that we have taken the call and answer you if we can. I've been known to call you. So those are two separate ways you can do this. Okay. All right, guys, any more?
Good, yeah. I'm going to take my screen and go back to scheduling.
When we go to reports, Jackie, those are so wonderful. You know, before you start scheduling, and especially those of you who are new, if you use your reports with each step as you go, for instance, you're setting up courses. right? You're getting all those courses done. We've got a beautiful report called Course List. And Jackie, why don't we hit that one? That one's a good one to run.
Okay, right now I have a certain number of students selected. I don't have all of my students selected. So,
That'll be all right with Course List.
yeah, I just want to let you know that, and we're not going to touch anything that's going to show any of these students.
No
So-
students or teachers will be shown
Right,
in the course of this. Now, these are called pre-build reports.
right.
These are, so this is probably the first report you want to run and look at. Because when you run it, it's going to run for all your active courses in your course catalog. And it's going to show you if you check the box for it to be scheduled.
All right, let me see.
You're like me. You make more room on the screen.
Trying.
So we got the number, the name. Check. You notice that the third one down's got a no. That means it's not going to schedule. What I would do here is I would go to my course catalog and uncheck this course to take it out of my active catalog.
Right.
Now you notice we've got maximum enrollment. That means when it hits 20, if I check it when I tell it to load, it'll stop. But if I don't tell it to honor it, it'll keep going. It's build no sections, and I'll be willing to wager I have no assignments, but I'm not sure on that one.
Probably not in this particular place.
That's right. And PP meeting, periods per meeting. That means, does this class take one period or two? Nursing fundamentals is a 2-period class. PP cycle. Oh, I'm sorry. Frequency is you are how many days? This must be a 2-day school because they got a frequency of 2, which means it takes place 2 days.
Right.
PP cycle, periods per cycle. Oh, 2 period. It's a 2-day school. It meets 1 period, so periods per cycle it will be 2.
And it does that calculation automatically for you. So it takes the periods per meeting and the frequency, and then you get your periods per cycle.
If this had been nursing fundamentals, that number would be 4,
Right.
because it's 2 periods.
Yeah.
All right, now we got valid start periods. This is a really good way to force a course to go into a period that you need it to without pre-scheduling.
Right.
Please write that down.
Exactly. Most of the time, courses can go wherever they need to go. So that means you don't need to put in any valid periods. So that's why this top one is blank. That means this course, whatever it is, let's go back, AP Computer Science Principles. That course can start can meet any time of the day for the cycle.
That's right.
So the other ones, if you, let's say band, that's usually an easy one to do. If you have to share teachers with another building, and your building can only house band or have band being taught in the first 2 periods of the day, then your valid start periods are just going to be 1 and 2. And then it will force the system not to schedule in those other periods of your day.
And you didn't use a constraint or a pre-schedule.
Right, right.
And it's easier on the engine. Scheduled terms is 1. I don't think what that one is. All right, then we got terms offered. I like this one. So this is another one. Instead of pre-scheduling it into first semester only,
right,
I can do it in semester 1 or semester 2, or either one. I don't care which one you go into, but just put it in one.
Right.
And there's also one that's going to be year-long. You cannot have a course be semestered and year-long. You have to have 2 iterations of that course.
So it either has to be S1, S2, just S1, just S2, but you cannot include the F1 in that.
Correct, but your term cannot be included. Facilities is having to do with, all right, I got a computer lab, and I have, this is an example that was given to me in my scheduling class in Learning PowerSchool. You have the CHAD license, you know, the CAD license. You only had 20 for a certain computer room. Well, that wasn't that teacher's preferred room. So they used the facilities type thing here to make sure that that class went to the facility that had the CHAD license. Load priority is a 10 here, and God, wrong. For some reason, the low priorities on these have become in at 10. The low priorities, this is the 1, the 3, the 7, the 15, the 31, and the 63. We recommend that you hold off using 1 and 3, because that way if you have one of them little armory courses that don't want to load right, that's all right. I'll change that low priority and it'll do what I want it to.
So the lower the number, the higher the priority.
Correct. Right. Team, all right, if I'm using a team, that one would be check. If I expected to see team, of course, to use teams, I would expect that to be checked. We are using section types, you see. What we have done on the section types is we want to control who goes into a section without using a team. Maybe I would like to have girls go into one group of sections and boys. So by using section types on the course, the section, and student request, I can actually go into the section type. Sections to offers, we're going to have 3 here. And, oh, it's showing the rank. How cool is that?
So
that's new.
So the rank has nothing to do with class rank. This is all having to do with scheduling.
It's our course rank.
So it's telling us here that in all of the courses that are going to be scheduled, the top one is going to be 510th in order for the system engine to schedule it. So a lot of times, we definitely have to run that course rank before we actually.
And if anyone's been in a room with me, they know I like course rank, because I can tell looking at that course rank if I've got fatal errors coming up.
Right.
Because if I have all zeros in my sections, my friend, you have no teacher assignment, and you're going to get that error that says teacher assignment file is it empty or blank?
Empty.
It makes your heart stop.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's good, because if you're trying to do your build and it sits there and it's spinning, you can come back to this course rank and say, okay, well, obviously it stopped at this course. So we can move that course down in the rank just to get the build done so we can see where stuff is happening.
Sometimes the system you remember that crazy error, sorry, we cannot schedule it, and if we did so, it might take a month or so to do it.
Right.
Well, what it is that there's so many holes open in that schedule, and the scheduler is just churning and turning, and it's I give up. Yeah. Too many. I don't know what you want. So by moving it down in that course rank, by the time it gets there, there's not as many holes to choose from.
Right.
So it goes, oh, okay, thank you. Boom, right there where you want it to go. So it helps.
Yep.
It also, you can make one move up to get it go first.
Exactly.
If that's what you need one to do.
Some of those senior singletons that need to definitely happen.
Exactly. You put them first, and then give that student a priority to go into those first. Oh, we're getting some good stuff here, Jackie.
Yeah, and we're not getting a lot of questions, and this is kind of a question and answer type time frame, so I don't want us to monopolize all of the time. So definitely add some stuff in. We're just kind of doing filler, so we're not sitting here with...
yeah, we'll stop talking. Now, there's another report that I'm particularly fond of as we're building. And Jackie knows these reports inside and out as well. Another one you may want to be sure. Now, we're not going to run this one for you to look at, but we have the teacher assignment by course, your teacher assignment by teacher, and your teacher list. I do teacher list next. Are they checked to be scheduled?
Right.
Did you have to give them free time? That type of information. Ooh. I'm going to go off subject. See that one underneath, Jackie?
I do.
Pre-schedule. That's a plug-in. Did y'all know that?
Mm-hmm.
And it's a plug-in. You know, you hear DPI fussing about these plug-ins all the time, don't you? Don't do plug-ins unless da-da-da. Guys, do this plug-in.
Right.
Go find it. It's wonderful when we start committing, because what happens is it finds your duplicate sections. It will find some issues. Doesn't find them all, but it finds some. So I recommend, if you don't have it, get it. Jackie's going to show you where.
I believe it's number 682. why I know that, I have no idea why I remember that.
Last year you taught it at, we gave it to everybody.
I guess it wasn't 682. So, let's see.
It is a plug-in.
Here's a plug-in.
Is it on the enhancement?
Yeah. So I'm going to go to...
So she's gone to Community and PowerSource Exchange, I believe it was. And it's called the pre-commit, maybe?
Oh, I don't know if it has the...
There we go.
Oh, yay. Okay. So... what's it called? I thought I had a number on it. Okay, I'm going to click it, so let me make sure you guys can see it.
That's it. This is, look at what it tells you. Do you have some invalid scheduled section course numbers? Invalid scheduled section, maybe it's null, and I saw this last year. Invalid teacher, maybe duplicate. How that happened, I don't know, but we actually saw duplicate sections and CC records. Some CC records where students don't exist in students. I've seen that as well. It will identify these issues, and then we can correct them, and you'll be able to commit.
Okay, so it tells you how to do the installation. It gives you all of these instructions. What I would do once you find it is I would bookmark it just so you can have it. And this is just something within PowerSource. And I did go through a little bit about bookmarking in one of our meetups.
Yes, you did. I didn't know that. But this is one of the few plugins.
Watch this file. And this will say, it will send you an email saying if this has ever been updated, fixed, edited, whatever. So I would do a watch this file. But this has been okayed and promoted by DPI. So definitely make sure that this is
we don't do that often.
being used, that's for sure. So under Exchange, I typed the word, in the keywords, I typed the word pre-commit. And pre-commit validation report. That's the one you want.
Jackie, we have a really good question. I'm glad Michelle asked it. I was waiting for someone. Before we mess with our schedules, we have to download the engine on our computers each year, correct? And we do suggest that you download it each year. Where do we get this engine? Then plug in your, okay, we showed you where the plug-in was, but now Jackie can show you where to get the engine.
Okay, so the plug-in, I didn't find the numbers, so I could go back in the old meetups to find it, but in PowerSource, I went to Community, I went to the Exchange, and in the keywords, I did a search by typing pre-commit. Okay, so the next question is, where do we download the engine? So let me go back to scheduling. And under the tools, there is an engine download piece. It's right above the functions in the report. And this download engine, this one says January 26, 2016. So you might say, oh, well, it's past that time. I don't have anything different, so I'm going to use it. You still need to download it. And it has to be downloaded at the physical computer that you're going to be utilizing. So if you're going to use, at work, you're going to use your desktop, you need to download the engine there. If you happen to take a laptop home and want to do something at home, then you also need the engine on that laptop that you're working with. And we do suggest, I'm sorry, I was reading at the same time. So we do suggest that every person that is going to be helping you with this schedule download that engine, even though only one of you at a time will actually be clicking the build or the load piece. 682 is the download ID for the pre-commit. Okay, and I thought I did that. Let me go back to PowerSource.
You were in the you were on you were trying to do it within the documentation, I think.
682.
Look at there.
Golly. Thank you very much, Cheryl. I appreciate it. So I did have the right number. I just in the wrong place.
Wrong screen. All right. Cool. All right. All right. So now on our report.
Okay, I'm going back to reports.
Reports are always something that you. How many of you have ever accidentally put in a whole lot of? Maybe you've mass added a course request to the wrong grade level. And discovered it, you know, oh, golly, I got to change that. How do I do that? Guys, have you ever used the course request tally? If you run that report, I would run it for all students. Then it's going to run. We can run this. We just can't push on the buttons. When you run this report, I can run it for all of my, and I do recommend when we do this one to run for all students. It's going to tell you the name of the course, how many have chosen it for a primary, an alternate, or an elective. I can click on to any of the numbers because they're blue. Remember, blue is drillable. And then I can do a mass add of a course request because you want to add the right course. Because once you do a mass delete a course request, you can't get that group of students back up. FYI. So this would be a good way to change those course numbers, delete them and add them back. But always mass add before you mass delete. Okay. Well, those are some of my favorite pre-scheduling reports. I hope that you guys will use them and see, and let this one, as you're doing your build, look at your course request. This is the one you're going to hand your principal and say, okay, here's our request. I got 353 students wanting to take English 2. How many teachers do you have that can handle that load?
Okay. So I appreciate all of the stuff that you're saying, Doris. It's all really good information. One of the questions that we had is, can the engine be downloaded at any time, or do we need to wait and do it as an LEA group? And no, the engine can be downloaded at any time. If you're working alone for a while and then another person's got freed up for you to help you, they can download that engine on their machine at that later time. So at any time, it's fine.
And also remember, the engine is used for building and for loading. You can do all this pre-work without the engine.
Correct. Yep. The engine is only needed when you're ready to finally do a build and a load. So this is a lot of pre-work that we're doing. So all these reports are pre-building reports. So we can do all of that without that engine.
All right. Oh, well, they want to know who we are again. I'm Doris Kitt.
And I'm Jackie Utter.
And we also have someone from the support desk.
Hey, I'm Michelle.
Awesome. I guess we can put our emails in, we could put that email in the answer to the question. I'm Jackie, but my email is Jacqueline, so it kind of is a little bit different. What is the help desk? Do you have a help desk email?
Nope,
Okay. Or you can create a support desk ticket. Okay, so we do have another question. When scheduling students at a community college, what is the best way they have courses at the school also? Okay, so community college, the cross enrollment, is that still in test?
Isn't it community college this way? They have courses at the school also. Well, there are courses that they should be using for community college. For instance, if I'm not mistaken, that course at 0A, does that not represent a community college course number? We have numbers of courses that are specifically for community college. Let me find my information. And then you would schedule them to have that actually in their schedule. Takes a minute, sorry.
So I think maybe one of her questions might be, do they schedule that as a course at another school?
No, they schedule it at their school. It has to be part of their schedule there.
So it would
Like
not be a cross-enrollment.
we actually have numbers that actually have community college, that are for community college specifically.
Do you have an example of one yet? Still looking?
Well, for instance, there's so many of them. If I'm not mistaken, it does begin with a letter, the number then a letter, number then a letter. I've got a couple that actually says community college, and I'm just looking for a better one.
Start with a single number and then a letter. Okay. So they're going to start with a single number and or and then a letter.
For instance, English, oh, that's right, English 111 and English 112 are community college. Oh, I forget about them. I think that is,
yeah, so Michelle, yeah. Michelle, thank you for that. Yes, English 111 is, and you said 112,
yes,
are both.
Endorsement issues. I'm sorry, it's not funny. We were just laughing because those courses are familiar to us.
College course. I think we had one that we didn't answer above. It has been since the first rollout of PowerSchool that I have done a build. Are there anything I need to know that are great tips and pointers?
Pretty much everything we've been sitting here talking about and showing her the file, the secret hidden files.
The secret hidden files on NCSys is the best place to get all of your documentation needs. And Doris, she did mention that they may look like they're old, but the process has not really changed. So there's still very good information to get there. The pre-build checklists, and you could also go on NCSys and look at prior webinars, prior presentations that have been done at other symposiums. Those all have directly related North Carolina scheduling tips and tricks. And you might want to consider going to a couple. You don't have to do the day and a half, but there are other scheduling courses at the new CCES this year. But you could always go to ncsys.org. I'm sorry, it's www.nc-sys.org to find older presentations and PowerPoints and such.
Exactly. But let the reports be your friend when you start. Remember to constantly, always, when you go in and out, look at your scheduling year. That's one of the main things that I look at in SHOP, because like when you copy your schedule, it will change your scheduling year back 10 years. I've got to go to my years and terms and change that.
Right.
Sometimes people forget to set their scheduling year and put in course requests. Oh,
yeah.
golly Pete, you just, ooh, we got to change them. We have to figure out what year they go in and go into the tables and change them. Because if you don't set that scheduling year, it's not going to be at the right year.
Right. So having said that, the pre-scheduling webinar that was done last week, or the week before, I don't even remember anymore.
We were out with snow last
Oh my
week.
goodness. It does talk about when that set scheduling year should happen. So it is being posted this week and it's going out, so you should be able to find that on ncsys.org as well to go through those PowerPoint slides and listen to the webinar that talks more about the set scheduling year. We do have another question. We do not schedule community college courses because then you cannot key in their grade when you get a transcript. We only key in their grade in a single entry under historical grades. Are we doing something wrong?
How are you getting the right minutes for the PMR?
Very good question.
Because that class is part of the student schedule that makes him a full-time student that allows him to get that ADM for your school. Well, they're answering, do you know what day of the conference the day and half scheduling class begins? It is on Monday and Tuesday.
All day Monday, half day Tuesday.
Yes. I think our other classes that we teach start right after that. Now, this is an excellent question. I'm not sure I know the answer. If you did a load last year but are doing a bill this year, would you be able to copy your teacher assignment?
Wait, I need to read it again. If you did a load last year but are doing a bill this year, I believe so, because you're copying the assignments from the existing schedule.
Right, it's looking at their sections, right? And it's saying, you built. Yeah, that's right, because it's based on the schedule.
It's based on the master schedule, so.
Oh, you tripped me up.
Woohoo!
Great.
That's hard to do.
Great question.
Are you typing there?
I'm typing for Tanya.
Cool. Do you know what day of the conference? So we did that. Monday and Tuesday. This semester I did schedule, so this is back to the community college courses. This semester I did schedule them, but then we realized we could not key in their final grade. So I'm not sure how to proceed. Do we need to wait until we store final grades for now to key in grades so that the final grade block will have a dash to adjust the grade in?
You can do that.
You can. So why is she saying they cannot key in their final grade?
You would have to do it like a single new entry.
That's what she's saying she was doing. But then you asked how was she
But it's not the student.
that?
Is it in the student? Is the course of the student schedule?
She said this semester she did schedule them.
All right, they're good then.
But they realized they couldn't key in their final grade. So but that's still gotta be included for the GPA.
Well, the GPA will get it once they key in the final grade.
Right, but she's saying they can't key in their final grade. I'm not sure why you're saying you can't key in the final grade. Is it because it comes in too late from the college?
Oh, I like Julie's answer. Do you see Julie's answer for you?
I put myself as a co-teacher for VPS and CC classes.
That's a hair class.
Yep. That definitely works as long as the lead teacher goes in first to activate it, kind of thing.
Please be sure you heard what Jackie just said.
So Julie, it's fine that you do that, and I'm glad. But the VPS teacher, whoever the lead teacher is for the course, has to go in and like prime that pump. They have to go into the grade book first to kind of break the ice, and then the co-teachers can go in and deal with grades and assignments and such. Michelle says, when we do a single entry, then we have two grade lines, one with blanks and one with a single entry. Because we have not stored final grades yet, cannot access that block to key in the final grade. Okay, so
we may need to talk to Michelle on the side.
yeah.
okay? I'm not putting her off, but I would like to talk with her more on the side on this particular subject.
All right, so we want to make sure that, everything is correct. So
Absolutely.
schedule the course, so this is as a general, not just to Michelle, but as a general topic here. Schedule those community courses and then, key in the final grade.
I'm thinking,
So that you don't have to go into historical and edit it after the fact.
exactly.
And because Michelle, you are correct. If you schedule it and then you put in a single entry in historical, you will have 2 lines. So that is correct. So that's what we don't want to happen. So it's probably because you do not have the grades back from the college yet, is what I'm guessing, is that you store the grades and then you get the community college grade. Then you would have to go in to the already existing record in historical and update that grade. All right. Michelle, Doris and/or I will talk with you. Julie says they do not have access. I put all the grades in historical grades. Oh, because the VPS teachers and the CC teachers don't have access. That's what you're saying. I understand, Julie. All right, so maybe we should go, we have a couple minutes left. Maybe we should go through that process kind of in general. So the real process is to schedule the courses into that student schedule. When it comes time to put in those final grades, make yourself that co-teacher for those classes to get those grades in, because those teachers truly don't have access to our Power Teacher Gradebook or PowerSchool. And then when you do the store grades, obviously they will get into historical. If it happens that the grades are not entered before the grades are stored, then you would have to go in and edit the existing line and don't create a new single entry.
Correct. That's some really good questions. I'm sure she's not the only one who asked it.
No, I'm sure not. That's why I kind of wanted to make sure we went through it. All right, so we have about 3 more minutes. Is there anything that you guys want to see on the screen? I'm just going to bring back the scheduling reports page, just because that is
That's a great page.
it is.
And room list. I didn't even talk about my room list. Oh my goodness.
Doris loves her room list.
Guys, rooms will mess you up if you're building. I can't say it any simpler. It's a dominoes effect. Your room max will trump your course max. If I have a room set at 20, my course max is set at 25, and the preferred teacher's room is at 20, that course of 25 will not be scheduled in her preferred room.
Yep.
It will never go in there until I increase
That's right.
my room size.
Because the room size trumps the course.
Because room is physical.
Yep.
If I have a course taught online, I can teach 1,000 kids.
Yep.
If I have a room full of 20 desks, I can only get 20 kids in there. And believe me, that's way too many.
Yes. Okay. Thanks for that, Doris. 10:59. We do have a couple last questions. When the grades were stored for my school, the community college courses did not show up, even though they were on the student schedule. I had to do a single entry for each community college course. Is there another way to do this? Crystal, email Doris, and then we'll talk through that with you. Not quite sure why it did not show up in what you're saying, so I don't want to waste that time here. Another question is, these scheduling reports are in PowerScheduler? And yes, ma'am, they are. So on the left-hand side under PowerScheduler, under Tools, you will find Reports at the very bottom. Can we add information to a room number or can only put in the number? Our principal would like the phone extension added beside it. I don't see how we can do it.
You would have to go into each room and add it, and I would recommend it at the end, not the first, because there are only so many characters that you can see for your
Put it
room.
at the end and not the first.
In other words, can we pull up a room and I'll show you, because I don't think rooms should be secure. Okay, so we'll edit a room. You see, you have your room number. If we add it to the room at the end of the 100, would you be able to see it where you needed to see it?
Yeah.
See at the top of the room number.
Yeah, so in the description is what she's saying, but.
You can put anything. This is your data.
Yeah.
This is your data. I would try one, see what it looks like. Look at reports that show rooms. Is it ugly? Is it useful at this point now? That's what I would recommend doing, changing one or two, then looking. See what it looks like.
Yeah. I'm not warm and fuzzy about putting that in the description.
Well, she did not realize, though, how to edit, and we showed her what she had. We did. That's cool. So now she can go in there and try what she wants to try. Hey, by the way, you see this used for scheduling? Every room I schedule's got to have that. Room is free. Please don't check that.
Yeah.
Unless you got one of them crazy DPS teachers, and you put like 100 kids in one room.
Yeah.
Let's make her free.
Yeah.
But don't make all your teachers free. It'll hurt.
Well, these are rooms.
Yeah, right. Don't make your rooms free, because what's going to happen, you know that class that was 25 that wouldn't fit in this room of 20, they're going to go in that room, along with every other class that couldn't schedule.
Everything that can't schedule is going to go into that free room.
Any room free is exactly that. It's a free-for-all.
Yep.
Department only, it'll only put whatever department you have there, and please use our department, because it has to do with school net. Facility use only, we talked about that a little bit. And room max, please have that set.
Yep.
Larger or equal to your course max.
Okay, it's 11:02. We had a fun-filled hour. We did a lot of things. We did do some talking, but we kind of got you guys involved, so that was a good thing.
Thinking.
This is definitely the time to start thinking, so this is good. And there will be more Q&A sessions. Just because you went to one, you can come to all of them if you want, so you're not just limited. So they are on the calendar. Take a look and see where there are that are scheduled. You guys have a wonderful rest of your day, and we will post the recording. Oh my gosh.
So please call in, even if you just have a question, and ask our question and hang up on us. It's okay.
That's okay.
That's what we're here for, to help you. Consider these sessions a war room session.
There you go. So thank you, everyone, and we will do this again soon. Bye.